My family excluded me from dinner after I saved their home, so I pulled the financial plug. My relatives left a message on my phone. You're not welcome at dinner. Your brother's girlfriend isn't comfortable with you. This came 3 weeks after I took out a $91,000 loan to rescue their house from foreclosure. I responded, understood. Then I halted all future payments, cut off their access, and erased 204 payment records. They started reaching out, but I was in line at the hardware store, holding a pack of light bulbs and a new faucet, when my phone buzzed. It was a voicemail from my mother. I hadn't talked to either parent in over a week, which was rare, especially after everything I'd done for them lately. I pressed play while distractedly hearing the cashier ask the customer ahead if they'd donate to a school charity. Hi, honey, Mom's voice rang out, overly cheerful, forced. Just a heads up, we're hosting dinner at home tonight, but, well, please don't come. It's not you, really. It's just that Jenna doesn't feel at ease around you. You get it, right? Talk soon. I froze, replayed it, and listened again. Jenna, my brother Kyle's girlfriend of 5 months, who once asked if my construction job was just a side gig. The same Jenna who wore designer jackets to casual barbecues and called our family home charming in a vintage way. I nearly chuckled in line, but it wasn't funny. 3 weeks earlier, I'd secured a $91,000 personal loan to stop the bank from seizing my parents' house. Their retirement funds had vanished in a shady investment scheme my dad wouldn't explain. They were 5 months behind, days from losing the home they'd lived in forever. I emptied my savings, signed the loan, and locked myself into a 5-year repayment plan that kept me up at night. And now, I wasn't invited to dinner because Kyle's girlfriend didn't vibe with me. I left the store without buying anything, sat in my truck, and played the voicemail on loop until the anger in my chest felt like it'd never fade. Then I opened my phone, accessed the loan app, and started tapping. Disable auto payments, revoke bank permissions, clear saved payees. Next, I opened my Notes app, where I'd tracked every payment I'd made for my parents since college. 204 entries from mortgage installments to utility bills, car fixes, and groceries. Select all, delete. Then I texted back, understood. That's when something inside me broke. I wasn't always the son who said, understood, and cut the financial cord. A year ago, I was still the one who rushed over when Dad's car broke down on the highway. The one who sent Mom $600 through PayPal when her card got declined at the pharmacy. The brother who loaned Kyle $4,300 to cover a deposit after he overdrafted his account on a ski trip Jenna pushed for. Things weren't always this way. Or maybe they were. I just hadn't seen it. Growing up, I was the dependable one. Kyle wasn't the golden child, but he was Kyle, charismatic, full of promise. Kyle, who totaled 2 cars by 21, still got a shiny new BMW for his 25th birthday. By 16, I had rough hands from roofing in summers and stocking shelves in winters to afford community college. I graduated without debt. No one cheered. When Mom called 6 weeks ago, she used her usual tactic, honeyed words with a sharp edge. Sweetie, I hate to ask, but we're in a bind with the house. We're a little behind, and the bank's being difficult. Your dad's too proud. You know how he is. How much is a little? I asked. A pause, then a sigh. 89,000, but with interest, it's closer to 91. I should have laughed, should have hung up. But I didn't. Instead, I picked up a second job that evening, called my bank the next day, and cashed out the deposit I'd saved for my own apartment, a dream I'd nurtured for 2 years. 3 days later, their mortgage was cleared. The roof over their heads was safe. Mom wept. Dad muttered. Kyle sent a fire emoji. I should have seen the warning signs the next week when Dad asked for another grand to replace their fridge. Or when Mom said Kyle's phone bill had accidentally landed on my account again, like it wasn't the 4th time. The real blow? I found out about the dinner on social media. Jenna posted a glossy story captioned, "Family dinners are my heart, what blessed vibes." In the background was the dining room I'd saved. Dad carving a turkey, Kyle grinning, Mom pouring wine. My seat was empty at the table's edge, not even hidden. That night, I called Kyle. I didn't expect an apology, just his reasoning. He picked up on the 3rd ring, casual as ever. Yo, what's good? Did you tell Jenna I'm toxic or something? He hesitated, gave a weak laugh. Chill, man, don't overreact. Was it her idea to ditch me or Mom's? Honestly, he said, it was me. You've been kind of heavy lately, always drained, silent. Jenna's sensitive to that. She's super intuitive. I took a $91,000 loan so your intuitive girlfriend could drink rosé in a house I preserved. Silence. Then, well, you didn't have to. You chose to. I swear my vision blurred red. I chose to, I told myself, Because Dad was days from losing the house. Because Mom said she'd collapse if they had to relocate. Because you couldn't manage your own bills, let alone theirs. Relax, he said. It's not that serious. You're always the steady one. We count on you. I'm not your personal bank, Kyle. I hung up and blocked him, and Mom, and Dad. I deleted our family calendar, canceled their access to my Sam's Club account, and froze the emergency card they used for essentials, but racked up charges for DoorDash and massages. When the next mortgage payment failed, Dad called 4 times in one day. I didn't answer. Instead, I printed every transaction I'd ever covered, every wire, favor, and bill I'd paid out of family obligation, and mailed them to their address with a note. Since you value records, here's mine. 3 days later, my phone lit up with missed calls. Mom, then Kyle, then Dad, then Kyle again, this time via video call. Declined. Then a text from Kyle. Dude, what's this? Dad's losing it. Mom. David, honey, this is too much. You're tearing us apart. Dad. This childish stunt helps no one. Man up and call your mom. That was it. That night, I drove to their house. My name's still on the deed. The house I saved. I parked and stared through the windshield. Soft glow from the windows. Jenna's tacky, seasonal wreaths on the porch. A doormat reading, "Home is where the love is." I knocked once. Kyle opened the door, barefoot, holding a cider. "Whoa," he said. "A text would have been nice." I brushed past him into the house. Mom was in the kitchen, wiping down glasses. Dad sat on the sofa, arms folded like a gatekeeper. Jenna, thankfully, wasn't there. I stood in the living room's center. "You know," I said quietly, "if you're going to treat me like a cash machine, you could at least save me a seat at the table." Dad snorted. "Don't pull that victim card. You wanted to help. That was your call." "Yeah," I said, "and I unmade it." Kyle paced behind me. "Bro, we didn't mean to upset you. Jenna just senses bad energy." "You mean responsibility?" "That's unfair," Mom started. I cut her off. Number unfair is me saving this house and being told I'm too gloomy to invite. Unfair is sacrificing my future so you can live easy while treating me like a spare part. "Mind your tone," Dad growled, standing. "I am," I said, "and this is the last time you'll hear it here." I pulled a folder from my coat and dropped it on the coffee table. Inside, loan termination notice, utility co-signer withdrawal, and a letter from my attorney ending my financial authority over their accounts. Kyle blinked. "What's this?" "Independence," I said. Dad grabbed the folder, his face flushing. "You canceled the mortgage?" "More than that," I said. "I told the bank I'm done covering your payments. Since it's in your names, they'll be in touch. Soon." Mom's hands trembled. "But we can't, David. We can't afford it." "You should have thought of that before throwing a dinner party in my house and telling me to stay away." "We didn't mean to push you out," she said, eyes wet. "It was a mix-up." "Then this is just a fix," Dad snarled. "You'd let your family drown after all we've done for you?" I turned. "Done for me?" I laughed. "You mean guilting me into bankrolling everyone while Kyle played pretend with his influencer wannabe girlfriend? You mean never saying thanks? Or calling me greedy for not funding a 3rd trip in a year?" Kyle mumbled, "Man, it was just Tahoe." "Shut it, Kyle," I snapped. He recoiled. "I gave up my apartment. I gave up trips. I gave up sleep, sanity, and my 20s for this family. And you banned me from dinner for appearances." Mom sobbed, hands over her face. Dad glared. "This was your choice too." "No," I said, heading for the door. "Yours will be." As I stepped out, Kyle tried again. "Come on, we're family." I turned on the porch. "Number family doesn't bleed you dry and call it loyalty." I left them frozen in the doorway, 3 stunned faces lit by the warm glow of a house built on lies. I didn't expect a single sorry from them. They didn't think I'd follow through. I saw it in their faces as I walked away, the smug belief I'd cave like always. But I didn't. The mortgage defaulted in 2 weeks. Their calls surged. Kyle tried texting from a new number. Mom left voicemails, from tears to manipulation. Dad even emailed. Subject, act like an adult. I didn't reply. Instead, I moved on. I signed a lease for a small loft I'd been eyeing. Brick walls, a skylight, my own space. No family voices in the background. No Jenna faking warmth over meals I paid for. I used my remaining savings to start building a life. For me. And for the first time in years, I slept. Not the restless doze of a man carrying a family's debts. Not the tense nap waiting for the next crisis call. Deep, dreamless sleep, mouth half open, I woke to quiet and freedom. Then, a month later, Kyle showed up at my job. I was eating lunch from a container in my truck's bed when I saw him. Shirt wrinkled, eyes sunken. He stood by a beat-up sedan with a dented fender. He approached cautiously, like I might bolt. "Hey," he said, hands in his pockets. I kept eating, silent. "They lost the house," he said. I nodded. "They're at Aunt Karen's. Dad's not sleeping. Mom's a mess." Silence. "They're scared, man." I sipped water. Kyle sighed. "I know you're pissed, and I earned that. But Mom says you're punishing us all, that it's harsh." I met his eyes. "Want to talk harsh? Try giving up your dreams for people who see you as a credit card with a pulse. Look, we screwed up." "No, Kyle, you didn't screw up. You showed who you are, all of you, and I walked." He looked away, shame etching his face. "Jenna's gone. Bailed 2 weeks ago, said she didn't want the drama." I almost smirked. "Almost. Now what?" I asked. "Need cash?" He shook his head fast. "No, I just wanted you to know I see it now. How it felt. What we did. It caught me off guard." He stepped back. "Dad still says you stabbed us in the back, but I think he knows he lost the one holding us up." I said nothing. He didn't expect me to. When he walked to his car, I felt nothing. Not rage, not vengeance, just relief. A week later, I ran into Aunt Karen at the supermarket. Her eyes were tired, her cart filled with budget groceries and generic cola. She spotted me by the oatmeal. "David," she said, surprised. "Been a while." I nodded politely. "They're at my place," she said, like I didn't know. "Your mom hasn't stopped crying since the eviction. Your dad just sits there, quiet. They think you'll come back." "I won't." She studied me, checking if I was bluffing. "You were always the reserved one," she said finally. "But I see now, reserved doesn't mean soft." "No," I said. "It means enduring. And I'm done." She nodded slowly. "My son Jake went through something like this. Different story, same family pressure. He cut them off too. Saved his soul." I blinked. "Thanks," I said. "Sometimes the unlikeliest people reflect your truth back." Weeks turned to months. My parents' silence grew heavier, colder, like they expected me to beg forgiveness for their pain. I didn't. Instead, I rebuilt. I earned a project management certification, landed bigger contracts, hired 2 crew members, and booked a trip. First in years, no emergency calls, no draining my account for someone's oil change. Just me, the ocean, and the sound of tides. Then, one night in December, I got a text from an unknown number, Jenna's ex, not Kyle, her ex-partner. He wrote, "We don't know each other, but thanks. You were right to walk away." Jenna tanked my finances, drained my accounts, and told her family I was controlling when I set limits. "You saved yourself. That's courage. Don't ever question it." I stared at the message for ages. I screenshotted it and sent it to Kyle. No caption, just the truth. Clear and undeniable. That night, I realized something for the first time. I wasn't the bad guy in the family story. I was the one who broke free, who slipped the chains. I always thought this chapter's end would feel heavier. Leaving your family after years of duty, expectations, and hollow loyalty would shatter something in me that I'd grieve, regret, crumble. But I didn't. I woke up lighter and resolute. Not the fury that destroys homes, the kind that builds walls, the kind that says, never again. My days became mine. I rose when I chose, ate when I wanted, laughed when I meant it. Not the forced chuckle I used when Kyle cracked another dig at my expense. I started lifting weights again, traded in my old truck, and signed up for a woodworking workshop just because I could. Life stopped feeling like a constant crisis. Then the guilt campaign kicked off. My inbox filled with messages from distant relatives, aunts, cousins, even neighbors I hadn't seen in years. "Your mom's heartbroken, you should call. I know your dad's gruff, but he cares in his way. You're hurting them for needing you. That's not right." Right? Was it right that I missed my best friend's wedding to send $3,500 to keep their lights on? That I canceled my first vacation in years because Kyle wrecked his car and needed a new down payment? That they held a dinner in my house and told me to stay away? Let me be clear. I didn't abandon my family. I left obligation masquerading as love, and I started living. Last week, I got a message from my old boss. He used to warn me I'd burn out if I didn't slow down, said I was too dutiful, too accountable. I thought he was just jaded. Now I know he was right. "Hey," the message read, "heard you finally picked yourself. Respect, man." That hit harder than any apology my family never gave. 2 days ago, I bumped into someone I hadn't seen in years. Jenna's real ex, her actual ex, apparently. She ditched Kyle, just like she did when the funds dried up. He looked older, leaner, but freer. "She wrecked everything," he said, "but weirdly, I'm thankful. I wouldn't have rebuilt if she hadn't torched it all. I nodded. Yeah, flames clear the ground. Make space for something stronger. Before he left, he added, Kyle's crashing with a buddy now. Heard he's looking for you. I just smiled. He won't find me. Because I'm not hiding. I'm gone. Not missing. Not lost. Free. Here's the truth I learned too late, but just in time to save myself. Family isn't those who share your DNA. It's those who honor your limits. It's those who cheer when you rise, not those who pull you down. My parents had countless chances to be family. They chose ease, they chose Kyle, they chose Jenna. And when I needed them most, they chose silence. So I made my choice too. I didn't cut contact out of pettiness. I did it to survive. And now, I'm thriving. If you're reading this and you're the steady one, the go-to, the safe bet, hear me. You're not selfish for craving peace. You're not cruel for leaving those who shatter you while calling it love. You're not the villain for saying enough. You're human, and you deserve more than being someone's fallback. You deserve to live. And I finally am.